Whee! Hopefully my internet has some form of, heckin', mercy on me. And just spreading the word. Whee! Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go and just do that. And go here. Just so then that way I got all that. Lovely. And then I'm gonna go share on heckin' Discord. Which I've been very... And just copy and paste things. No, not that. It's there. Advertise. Boom. Whee! Okay. So there's that. Hurrah. I've done it. Okay. So, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna chill a bit. See if people come in. Whee! Okay, so I need music in the background. I need my I need my ever trusty heckin' fantasy background music. That's not going to get me in trouble with anyone. Yeah, why not? Let's just...
Switch on.
Fucking ads. The bane of everyone on YouTube's existence. So, wait till the ad is on. There we go. Turn that down. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, today's a little different. Today's just gonna be a little bit different in terms of my streaming. Very much so. Gonna quickly go into that. So then if anyone from my game is watching, they don't get spoiled. There we go. I could enable like Fog of War, but where's the fun in that? So, just to be heckin' for context, it is a very rainy day.
The YouTube music app is smart.
Ugh.
Type in any lyric to find any songs.
Ads, stop playing. I'm not paying fucking premium for that shit. But yeah, today is going to be a little different. I feel much more like doing a chill stream than trying to do a stream on 14. Because don't get me wrong, I still love 14. But I need to get a little bit of variety in there. I need to just branch out instead of just being 14. I have other video games in my repertoire. So I'm probably gonna do those eventually at some point once I get more confidence in myself. Once I get confidence in myself, then I'll start streaming the other video games. But I've talked avidly about being into D&D, so I just thought, why not? Why not do a D&D stream? Why not do one where it's just focus on that and I can just bounce back and forth between all my campaigns and all the stories that I've had and just focus in on that. So yes, I'm going to be just kind of bouncing back and forth between stories and lore from certain worlds. Mainly from the worlds that I've had permission to use their lore, which so far is only my own world and my Tuesday night game lore. Because I didn't want to be that bitch that just decided to share everything from that game, because it's a game only for us, basically. But at the same time, it's like, I'm passionate about it to the point of, yes, I want to start blabbing my mouth about this. Because, truth be told, of all the things I do, I look forward to D&D the most. If I don't play a certain amount each week, I feel weird, I feel down in the dumps. It's imperative to my mental health. But it's just a fun way to spend time with friends. It's truly, like, it's a way to socialize, but also not just sit there awkwardly and chat and just, how's your day? Oh, good, you know, that kind of thing. It's fun. And also for me, I like D&D because it also flexes my actor muscles. Because I grew up in the theater. My parents weren't involved, but I felt a draw to it, and so I just continued to the point of I am sort of going to college right now, and I am going for a theater degree. It's unstable, but at the same time, it gives me a lot of good shit. You know what I mean? Just all that to say is D&D is the highlight of my my night, if I have it. So basically, I'm gonna give the rundown on how much I play first and what games and what they're called, and touch on the ones of I can go into detail and lore on these ones, and these are the ones that I can't because I haven't asked permission yet. I refuse to jump the gun. So I play 5 nights a week normally, unless we're taking a break for one or scheduling conflicts occur, which is a very common practice in D&D. So those 5 nights normally are Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, used to be Friday night, but now it's shifting to Thursday night. All of them are just back to back right now, and I'm like, on one hand, I like it. On the other hand, I kind of wanted to be split up a little bit, but at the same time, it's better than doing 6 nights a week. So I'm gonna touch on the ones that I can't really talk about really quick. I have I'll start with my Thursday that used to be Friday game. Well, games, because we basically on Thursday we alternate a lot of different games, but it's by the same DM. We have a kind of modern police game where we're all kind of in the police force that we haven't touched in a while that I love. My character there is a female Swiftstride shifter who is a Way of Open Hand monk and 1 level in rogue. We're level 11 right now, so we're pretty high level, and it's fun in some ways. Also, and that character's name is Silver Fox. That's more of a it's not necessarily her name. It's more of it's much more of a, this is something I've chosen for myself because I don't want my actual name going around. You know? It's what I do. I don't want to put my real name out there, so I just, I'm Zil. It's simple. But Silver, people call her Fox and people call her Silver. There are, like, those 2 zones. And I'll just go ahead and tell stories from that game. It's called Brighter Day, for Silver, and there have been a pretty good moments. Like, the first couple of sessions were kind of, we were finding our feet, kind of finding our dynamic. Silver is not one to play by the rules a lot. She does not like rules. She likes to have her freedom, which is funny considering she's a cop. She went through the school and everything. She's not like, you come here. We like your services kind of thing. It's not that. So I had to step away from Brighter Day for a little bit because school, and I was getting towards a theater production where I'm like, I cannot do that night anymore. And so I had to take a step back, and it hurt me because I loved the character, I loved the world. I mean, my only consolation is they didn't get to do many games because of scheduling conflicts. Got to come back, and then the session after I came back was just chef's kiss, because Silver comes back to the party and is immediately shown the calling card of the person who murdered her parents from way back when she was a little kid, and just he had killed someone else again, and someone major in like the kind of world they're in. And so everyone was pissed the fuck off because that guy was nice, and then my character is pissed off because it was the guy the person that killed her parents, who she was like, I finally get comfortable with showing my face. And then this guy comes back, which I find hilarious, because before she used to always wear a hood up to the point of no one could see her face while out in public. You only saw her face while she was in the station or at home. Never out and about, never anything else like that. So she finally gets out of that stage and is just like, this fucking biatch. I'm gonna kill him. But then they also learned that my character's adopted mom, my character's mother, quotation marks, because she got adopted in her teen years by the head of the red light district, who is now her mother. Mama Z is what she's called. So we race that area. 2 people go around back, 2 people go in the front, and it's quiet, too quiet, and we get up to the top, and there is another woman talking with Mama Z, who seems to be like in a trance, and Silver immediately goes over to her side, and things quickly dissolve into chaos, basically. Basically, this woman was trying to get Mama Z to sign over all of her stuff, and we realized she had been charmed, so we immediately was like, okay, this is an enemy, and then as soon as we got hostile, it's just like, roll initiative, and then we fight. And before that, the woman we found out that was charmed Mama Z, her code name is Lust. She's a part of a gang that we're trying to bust. That's frustrating for Silver because she is head of undercover services and she has not heard of these people ever since starting working there. And so she's just like, these fucking biatches. You know? Just the audacity. So it's really, it's kind of, it's funny. But so we fight Lust. We get frustrated because she's very hard to hit. She has saving throws out the fucking ass that are high, and if you don't make them, you're charmed and you're screwed. And then she's stealth. Basically, Mama Z was still charmed, and so she tried to take out Silver. Tried to attack, couldn't land a hit because monk. And then Silver does, pressure point thing to make her go unconscious. So then, no damage, no nothing. Just she's out of the fight until they can wake her up. Which Silver felt bad about doing really bad, because it's just like, no, I don't want to do this to my mom. I don't want to do this to my mom. Fuck that shit. Screw that. And then Lust disappears from the battlefield, as in greater invisibility, and Charm and Charmed workers start coming up, and we have to knock them out without killing them. So, we do that, and we also have to take down one of our party members who were also charmed by her while she was down there. And then after that, Lust reappeared, looking better in health. Frustratingly enough, because we did some good damage. We almost took her out of the fight the first round. So it's just like, this a biatch. This heckin' biatch. So Lust reappears, and Silver is sick and tired of her bullshit. Because she had charmed her mom's worker, she had charmed her mom, she attacked her friends, tried to flirt with her, which is never a good thing for an ace. Unless it's, well, no, that's an arrow. I got my A's mixed up, because there's two that share that A spot. Aromantics and asexuals. She didn't like the sexual connotations of flirting. There's the words. I am not charismatic. That's my boyfriend's job. But, so Silver goes over, punches her, makes her get knocked down, and then standing over her, yelling in her face, "You come here, you charm my mother, you attack my friends, I am sick and tired of your bullshit, stay the fuck down," except much louder, and much more fury-ridden. And then I rolled an intimidation check, and quite literally, Lust just looked at Silver and was just like, "Oh my dear, if this is all you wanted, you could have just asked." And Silver's response is, "Oh, drop that bullshit, I am not fucking interested." Because, haha, you're trying to do something sexual with an ace. That ain't gonna end well for you. And then Mama Z is woken back up after we tie up Lust, who I'm sure was very into that shit. And Silver's just like, "I do not want anything to do with this woman. I'm going to my fucking mother." Fuck that shit. And so she goes, and her mom is awake, and Mama Z is apologizing to her, and she's apologizing back, because it's just like, "I didn't want to hurt you." You know, the whole thing of just, "I don't want to hurt you, I'm protective of you. I don't want to hurt you. That's like the opposite of what I want." And so Silver told her about the whole thing with her parents' murderer coming back. And Mama Z is just like, "Don't lose yourself to vengeance." And Silver's like, "So long as I got my friends, we good." And so long as I got you, Mama Z, and I got Marcus, who is my character's father figure. And just, it was a very wholesome moment. And then we go back to the police station, and my character is just like, "I'm going to stay out of the interrogation window. I'm gonna stay out of that room. Last time I was in there, it did not end well." Yeah, she pretty much, before she left, aka before I had my school shit going on, and before I had to leave, she might have punched his prisoner in the face. Cause she got pissed the fuck off. So she's like, I'm not going in there because I'm sure you guys don't want that mistake to be fucking repeated. So, But then Lust just looks at Ari, who's another character in there, who was going in to do the interrogation, and Lust is like, oh, what about the one that put me down? I want to speak with her. And Silver internally is like, oh god, please no. But at the same time, information. Shit. So she goes into the room, and immediately it's the give and take situation of information, which Silver knows well. Got a lot of information on the gangs, but it came with a cost. A lot of, like, physical, not necessarily sexual things. There was hand-holding, running fingers through hair. But the thing that I liked the most is because Silver was almost persuaded to give Lust her name, which is her, like, most prized secret. And when she said no, Lust just started laughing and was just like, oh, that's such a new experience. I'll give you 2 free answers for that. And I'm just like, this bitch is really used to getting her fucking way. So, if I say no, good. And then the last prize, she tried to get a kiss out of Silver. And Silver was just like, no. Fuck that. Because 1, she'd only do it if she really knows the person and is comfortable with them, and 2, if they would respect her boundaries, which I'm certain Lust would not do that. So, by proxy, she will not stop. So therefore, kissing equals a big no-no. So, yeah. And then after that, the characters went on their lunch break. Ari got fucking stabbed while walking to lunch, and we had to stop and come back, and everyone was fucking furious. Because it's just like, it was the same person. It was the same goddamn person that killed Silver's parents. And so quite literally, it's just like, this bitch, after years of fucking silence, comes back when I'm comfortable with showing my face. Not only that, he kills someone important, and then tries to kill one of my friends. She, frankly, when she gets back into the police station, she punches a wall. And I think that's the appropriate fucking response. So, boop-a-doop. My brain just pulled a blank. Then we use that information, we go to a kind of like safe house area. We meet the leader of the fucking gang we're up against, and immediately he tries to command us, and we have to deal with like several fucking bombs. And my character has the furthest away bomb, which is okay because she is a monk. All she does is quite literally, because we were in a storied building, we went to the stairs and everyone just jumped. Like, no one used the stairs normally. We all jumped in some way, shape, or form. Because Ari's an Aasimar, she bamfed out her wings. Our rogue did parkour shit. Our detective person, used one of their abilities to move themselves into safety. So it was just a lot of, we got no fucking time to waste, but time to fucking move. So, we disarmed the bombs, and then we're basically forced onto shore leave. Basically. We're forced to do R&R. Because quite literally, we're in the whole thing after the bomb threat, and the chief is talking to us. And quite literally, both Ari and Silver are workaholics, so they're like, if we're not there, who's taking care of business type of people? Because Silver is current then was running a different department than her own because someone else got hurt. And so quite literally, what the chief did, and I still find this fucking hilarious to this day, if the DM is watching, yes, hello, I am still talking about this, I still find this hilarious. The chief calls Silver's mother and forces her to rest that way by calling her mom. And Ari gets threatened with even more days off if she goes willingly or unwillingly. So the threat, it's the opposite of what happens in real life of threatening to have more time off is worse than having no days off. Because if it were in real life and someone was threatening off time, you would do it again and get off time. And so we took off time. We went to a spa. I managed to parent trap her Silver's two parent figures. Because Marcus and Mama Z, they care very much about Silver, it's just boop. And so at the spa, Marcus came in and Mama Z and Silver were like, what the heck, why are you here? And then he just approached Mama Z and kissed her, and everyone was like, insert character name here, .exe has stopped working, and like, blue screened. But at the same time, it's just like, they got parent trapped. They care about Silver. So we visit the person in the hospital that Silver's filling for, and Silver's just like, please get better soon. I want to go back to my department. It's not anything against this department, because the department she's filling in for was actually the one where she got her start. The department she leads otherwise is her father figure's former position. So we have fun there. We have a nice dinner out, and then kind of do and also on our time off we also pay a visit to some of the poorer parts of town that are kind of getting help, and we just spent a day looking and going to a cafe. And then we get word that one of our other players is leaving, so it's just the DM and two of us. No, three of us. Sorry. Math is hard. I'm in college for a theater degree, not a math degree. So, and then we haven't played that game in forever, so that's it for stories for that game. Still keeping with the Thursday games, because I mentioned that they alternate, so we did the first one, the one that's been around the longest, and then there's I suppose there are a series of one-shots that might be turning into actual campaigns, but we have another one that alternates on Thursday. There are 3 of them, so number 2 is 3 Kingdoms. I've heard from the DM, it kind of is based off of Wrath of the Lich King of WoW, but also better because it's not Blizzard. And more of D&D and not World of Warcraft. There I play a male Tiefling Whispers Bard, who is much more of I'm from a neutral party that does businesses a lot, and I can't do business if there's no people here, so I'm gonna join up with the heroes, kind of thing. And truth be told, he is really fun to play. For one, the dice didn't hate me when I made him. I'll get to that later. But also, he's very efficient. in battle. We're level 16, I think, for Three Kingdoms. I believe so. Level, if not 16, then 17. And that one's much more of a one-shot type deal. If we go and we do combat, but it's also kind of turning into like harem type shit because one of the other characters is very attractive in personality and in looks. Quite literally, me and the other person that is not that character look at that character and we go, huh. But in some ways, a lot of people do that as well, including those that are in our little group, like the people we're leading, our forces. And a lot of them are a lot more the physical sense. My guy is coming at it and I want to know more about you because I see your personality and I like it. But at the same time, he is kind of cautious too, because it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen after the war. I'm not going to ask him to go with me because he's already probably torn between a lot of different places. So like, why would I? Why would I give him another reason to decide on areas, you know? So, but yes, that Three Kingdoms character's name is Valis Entropy. For those who play 14, you might recognize the name. Yes, it is exactly who you're thinking it is. He does it better, though. Fight me. Not literally, I'll probably lose unless I have a lightsaber or bow and arrow. Okay, so that's 2 of the 3 alternating games on Thursday. Last one. This one is probably developing into an actual campaign, because we're having a lot of fun with it, and it was our recent plays. It's based off of Maid-ish. Basically, we are all staff in a manor to a young lord, and we're all attracted to said young lord. So we all get affection points, and we get some people who are pulling away right now, and then we got some other people who are more like catching up. For that game, I play a male human multiclass. Multiclass is Battlemaster Fighter and Life Cleric. So he's tank and damage at the same time, and that's fun. He's very, his name is Trystan Grey. Trystan is very against the type of characters that I play. I like to focus dex more than I do strength, but he's more strength based. Because we already got some stealthy people in the group, and I'm like, I don't want to do another stealthy person, so I'll just, like, he's strong, but he's not heckin' English, please, words are hard, I apologize. I decided to go strength. He's more of strong, but he's not a brute about it. He's not a grunt about it. He's quite literally, his 2 highest stats are strength and wisdom, with con being close second. So, and he is a joy to play. He's lovely to play. Trystan's lovely to play as a character. He's not really, he's kind of outgoing, and but mainly it's because he's among people that he knows. He's not very charismatic. His charisma is his dump stat. So, yes. But at the same time, he has, like, I believe it's like a 3-way tie for second place right now, for, like, points. For affection points, and he's among that tie for second place. So the man got skills. I'm just waiting for, like, the young lord to get nightmares, so then he has to choose who he goes to seek comfort from, because if he chooses Trystan, I have a lovely thing for him to do, because Trystan, one, he's a light sleeper, because military trained, and for two, he reads poetry, and he often reads more poetry at night than in the morning. So therefore, it would be fun to see that. It'd be fun to have that interaction. That'd be very, very fun. So, yeah, and there's my Thursday games that alternate depending on which one we want more. From what I can tell, next time we're running, it's gonna be Brighter Day. I get to go back to play Silver. Fucking finally. But moving away from Thursday, we now get into the much simpler tones of one game per night. Now, so I'm just gonna work my back a little bit and then skip over one probably eventually. But for right now, we're gonna go with Wednesday. This is where I said I will explain what I meant by the dice didn't hate me when I made Valis. Wednesday night is the game I get to explain that. So, basically, Wednesday night is a pirate-themed game. It's called Seas and Sorceries. There I play a male tiefling swords bard. His name is Thyn. That's what he insists on people calling him, because his actual name is a mouthful. His full name is Thanaros Hem, and that is a fucking mouthful, so he's just like, call me Thyn. Call me Thyn. The dice hated me when I rolled up Thyn. Like, absolutely hated me. And when I say hated me, I mean it. I rolled like 3 to 4 9s in my sets. We only got like 2 sets, and all of them were really, really fucking low. Like, I didn't have a lot of good ones. So quite literally, it's just like, I had to go to my DM and beg a reroll for my stats for another set, because like, boy is gonna die. He might die anyways, we'll see. But, fine. Other than dice rolls hating him when I made him, the dice rolls still hate him now. Like, he's missed more often than he's hit. And when he does take damage in a fight, he's more than likely going unconscious first. It was like that for the second combat of the game, and the more recent combat of the game. So, and from what I hear, the next time we play that game, we might be facing down a dragon. We're level 6 right now. We're level 6, guys. 6 or 7, one of the two. We're below 10. And we're talking either adult or an ancient. And I'm like, if you throw an ancient at us, Thyn's gonna die within the first breath weapon attack. Because his health is, I believe, 40? Either that or 49. No. I think it's 40. Hold up. I gotta seek my own character knowledge. I gotta seek my own character knowledge. Fine. We are level 6, my dudes. In that game. That's not fun. That's not like, it's fun because we're above level 5. We got all the good shit. Most of it, at any rate. But my guy is really low on health, guys. He's got like 40 HP. And he's a swords bard. He's supposed to be a melee fighter. And you want to know why I'm bitching about my health? Simple. I have less health than the wizard of the group. Let that sink in. My character has less health than the wizard. And he's a melee fighter. Let that sink in. Cool. But, okay. Time to tell a few stories. I'm not gonna go too much into lore on this one, like my Thursdays, because I do not have permission, and I am not gonna be that bitch who just assumes. So, first combat, well, no, not first combat, second combat, first ever combat, well, no, again, it's not first combat, so, second combat of the campaign. We're fighting underwater. We have armlets that help us breathe underwater, but not help us move underwater. So my guy only has 15 feet of movement. So, you know, as a bard, I move 15 feet forward, and then of course I use Vicious Mockery, because if I don't have that as bard, what am I even doing? And so, Thyn looks at this Hagen across from him that he's trying to make his way forward, and just insults the fuck out of him, which gets the first quote jot down of that campaign, and that was, "You know, I would insult you, but Mother Nature has already beaten me to the punch." And that was just like, ooh, burn, and then that same round, he went unconscious. He got stabbed through the chest, and almost died. So, also it's the whole thing of the armlets had like a stasis field around. That's how they were able to breathe. And because he got enough blunt force trauma, his armlet went off, so when he came back to consciousness, he was basically drowning underwater after that. But the paladin of the group saved him, and he wasn't awake for this, but he kissed him full on the mouth to give him air, so, and they're both gay, so therefore, there's the implication. There, right there. And then we go to the paladin's, home. I'm jumping forward in time because I didn't find the other one, like, it was fun, mainly because of character interaction, but, like, the other one, the paladin's one I found more interesting. We went to the paladin's, home, which he is a prince of an underwater kingdom. And my guy, who's been crushing on him since, like, close to the start of the game, is like, if he's happy here, then that's fine, and on the inside you just hear heartbreaking. But then he's also furious protective over him, because the reason why he ran away is because he got betrothed. So, you see his betrothed, and they start dancing. My guy is like, I'm not interfering, I made a promise to not interfere. And then the song is coming down, and he's like, okay, now I can come in and kind of rescue him. And then the betrothed kisses the paladin on the mouth. And what the funny thing was, I said Thyn froze, and one other character came over, excused themselves from the situation, and from the situation they were in, and was like, Thyn, breathe, don't murder a man, do not murder a man. He didn't murder him, as much as he would have wanted to. He quite literally looked to the paladin and was like, are you happy with this? And when he said, I don't know, and then Thyn apologized because he was about to break a promise, because I am not holding my fucking tongue here. Screw that. And basically, in front of all the nobles and the betrothed and the paladin's royal family, spoke up for his choice of choosing who he wants to be with, not what was decided, because it was arranged. Because fuck that shit, you know? And so, eventually it gets to the point of the betrothed just like, muttering to him, Hawkins thought you might have that whole thing. Basically, he mentioned the BBEG to us. And Thyn is immediately like, oh man, the urge to kill you is now stronger. I must resist. I am not a murderer. Fuck that shit. And then the betrothed asked, why do you care so much? And then that's when his feelings came out. Because I love him, without a second thought. He said that, and it was just like, mwah. And then we did a tournament arc, which ended in the betrothal not being happening. So we saved the paladin. I'm just ready to go to Thyn's home, and there's a reason why he doesn't want to go back, because he's staying quiet about it. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Oh, but also, the paladin and Thyn also got together. They are now a couple. So, yay! There, right there, gay. I'm European. I'm kidding. But that was a good reference. But yes, they are dating now, and I am very happy because they're very wholesome. Love them. They're so cute. Okay, that's Wednesday. I'm gonna skip over Tuesday because of reasons. We're gonna go to Monday. Monday is a little different from the other games because the Monday night game, for one, is my boyfriend's game. And for two, it's Pathfinder, which is very different from 5th edition. Very different. Oh, so fucking different. So, it's fun. It's fun though. There I play a female Aasimar, Oracle of the Moon. I get all the good shit. I get to go into people's dreams. Her name is Astraea. And she actually, and this is the fun part, I get to play her because me and my best friend, who is the DM of my Tuesday night game, we are playing twins. And so her brother is played by my best friend. And it's really fun. You know, it's really fun. Because we've talked about, wouldn't it be fun if we did, like, if we played siblings, and then we'd never done it up till now, which we've known each other for, like, 2 years at this point. So we were shocked, like, really? Bish. But, yes. Astraea got a magic, dream catcher that allows her to go into other people's dreams. She's sworn to silence for now, but she's avoiding one guy. It was my boyfriend's roommate, because he intimidated the fuck out of her. And out of myself. So, but at the same time, she understood why he was being intimidating, because he doesn't like people poking around in his head. And she feels bad about it, but on the other hand, it's just like, did you really have to go that hard into, like, spook me kind of deal? Like, really? We also haven't played that in a couple weeks, because we need everyone for that shit. But it's really fun. The character interactions are really good. Sometimes, okay, I have one story that pertains to the Monday night game, which is called Engine of Progress. We were staying in a very small town, and so we were kind of like settling in, and Saran, my character, Astraea's brother, goes out into the woods to find something, and it was posted by like a lot of kids, and so one side is like they're trying to be the good guy, while the other one is like the bad guy side. Like on one hand is like both sides are wanted posters, except one of them is wanted alive and the other is wanted dead. So, and they also had different ink. The good side was like in black, and then the other side was like in red. It was very cute. So Saran goes off, plays with the kids in the woods, comes into town where everyone is kind of like starting to gather, and then the entire party gets to play with a group of kids. And here's the funny thing. Just we had, so Saran was a bad guy. Astraea joined him as one of the bad guys because she's not gonna fight against her brother. Fuck that shit. She managed to be like, I'm disguised as the queen. I am the queen. Yes, freeze him. I was a witch disguised as the queen. You know, that whole thing. And then someone was bad in the beginning and then turned good because remorse, and then someone else helped the kids as well, and so eventually it got to the point of Saran and Astraea doing theatric retreating. Like, oh no, we are outnumbered and outmatched, we must retreat. And we were all smiling, like that was a game, that was the night that we smiled the most, and it was the best. I'm starting to smile now and I can't stop myself, but at the same time, it's a good memory. It's a really good memory. Playing with the kids were just the best, and Astraea marked the town on her map just to be like, if you ever come back this way, you know, just, Okay, so now I'm going to go to Sunday night's game. My Sunday night game. And then this one is one of the and so Sunday night game is my game. I DM Sunday nights. Most of the time. We managed to run, not this week, but the week before. And we won't be running tomorrow, unfortunately, but I do have something planned tomorrow. I won't be streaming because I want to keep with that schedule of if I had all my games, and adjust as I'm not playing kind of thing. But Sunday night is called The Burning Stars of Elebor. It is my game, my baby. And technically, this is my second round of DMing Elebor, because I've already ran one game in it. I thought that was going to be the first and only game of that, and then people liked it so much, and I realized I had loose threads, and I'm like, I'm going to do another one. Who's up for another round of Elebor? And pretty much all of them were like, me. It was fun. It was really fun. So, basically, I'm not going to go too much into depth on, at least my plans for, Elebor, because if my players watch my VODs or watch the stream, I don't want to spoil them, so therefore, but what I can do is I can go ahead and describe the past 10 sessions. Wow, really? I've already had 10 sessions? Yeah, I've already had 10 sessions. Holy shit. So, basically, I'm gonna call back to original as well in these. Basically, original was kind of, they were overpowered. It was my first time DMing. However, the difference between the then and now is striking to me, because I rushed through a lot of things, and now because comparing the first arc of the original to the first arc of Elebor 2 so far, I'm taking my sweet ass time. y'all. And there's my southern. Nice to meet ya. But like, cause original was like 3 sessions. 3 to 4 sessions. Well, this one already has 10 for the second go around. And I am very pleased about that, because not only am I taking my time, I'm letting my players take time. I'm not trying to, like, railroad them like I know I was doing the first, like, I realize I was doing it now, but I was such a control freak. I still have problems letting go, but I'm getting better about it to the point of I'm letting them make their own decisions. I railroaded the fuck out of them in the first game. And I am not proud of it, because I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a wasted opportunity. But then again, it was my first time DMing, so you live and you learn. But yeah, already 10 sessions in, we have a pretty good party, actually. And now my thing will actually come into heckin' use. I'm gonna just zoom in so you can see the names. So we used to have another person for Elebor, but they decided to drop out because they didn't want to play a lot of serious characters, and I can respect that. So I'm a little salty because they were one of the ones that wanted to start playing a lot and were getting on my ass about it, and then they dropped out, so I'm a little salty, but at the same time I can understand. But so we have a pretty good array. We got tanks. Nope, I don't need that. I need this. We got our 2 tanks in Badric and Castian. Badric is a half-elf wild magic barbarian. Wow. Wild Surge, I believe it's called. I can't remember exactly because I don't have access to it. But he's that kind of barbarian from the from the jungles of this area, and is a direct descendant of one of the original party members. And funny enough, it is a descendant of the character the same person played, because Badric's uncle, well, no, not uncle, Badric's grandfather, Damare, was the party member of the original campaign by that same player. So that's always fun. And then on our other tank side, but also kind of on the healer-ish, but not really, we have Castian, who is played by best friend, my Tuesday night DM, who is a human crown paladin. He is not a direct descendant of any of the original party members from the first game, but is closely tied to the family of a result of it. Because Castian is second in command to the White Company, Sebastian Magic Shield, who they've met. It's no spoiler. Sebastian is a descendant of Queen Keela Magic Shield and King Kai Lehal. Kai was a part of the original team and is still alive and in the world. They've also met him. And he was our first legacy introduction in the game. So as such, Castian is still highly tied into it, but is not a direct result, kind of thing. But everyone else is already shipping him and Sebastian, which, let's be real, it's more of a dream match. Let's be real here. Because Commoner, Prince, you see, that kind of thing. But yes, Castian is very good at his job. And then we have our other melee fighter in Thivrock Maginar. Thivrock is a direct descendant of another party member and is played by the same player who played that party member. Thivrock is a descendant of Morgon, who was the original party's paladin. And very closely tied to death and prophecy and religion because he follows Mandos. Yes, I'm using Lord of the Rings style basis here because that is what Elebor was based off of. It's just far enough removed that it's not an issue. But Thivrock is played by my boyfriend. I can't wait to see what headache he brings me in battle because he's using a homebrew class, and I mean full class, not subclass, full class, called Magic Shield, and he is the Death Bloodline, specifically because he is a Maginar, because that's the only one Maginars can be. The other 4 bloodlines can only be used by magic shields. And by magic shields, I mean like descendants of Kai and Keela, or people who have spent enough time around them that the power has started to like permeate into them. That's what happened in original. That's how Kai and Morgon were able to get the powers. But Thivrock is one of our damage dealers. He's not necessarily a tank, though if need be, he could probably do it. He's just our melee fighter with access to Warlock. I believe it's Warlock spells. Going back to Castian real quick. His player, my best friend, also plays Kai Leal, who is the Chancellor at this point. So that's one NPC I don't have to worry about playing. Hold please. Internet being shitey. Up there. I'm gonna plug that in this time. Okay. Okay. Please. 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 Please, please. 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 Internet, please. Okay. Small technical difficulties. I apologize. But I am now back. I am back. We are good. Kosher. Hopefully that does not happen again, because that was annoying. That's always annoying. I'm trying to get that fixed. Okay, so where was I? Castian's player is Chancellor Kyle Hall. It's who, again, First Legacy, a part of the original game, same player as Castian, you know, that whole thing. Been through that. Yep, cool. Okay, so now we are going away from, heckin' our melees and our tanks down here. We're going away from them. We are going to move to our physical ranged, which is only one person. This gal, our late freeborn. The player tells me that they're very much based off of Aloy from Horizon. So, Archer, so she's a human Gloomstalker Ranger. And she has been our most reliable, one of our most reliable sources of damage. Because she has the sharpshooter feat. And everyone knows very much how that kicks ass. She's ended a lot of undead at this point. She is played by my Thursday night DM, who's wonderful, who actually is not a part of the original ensemble of our original Elebor. He is one of our newer players. And so, very fresh, very simple, very much based off of another character, you know? That sort of thing. It's cool though. I'm 100% like, words hard. Words are hard. Words are hard. So, yes. So, there is our ranger gal, who is very fresh to our group. We are going to go to our, magic-based, person, who is Tabby. I'm withholding a lot of information on Tabby as per race, because that is not apparent to people. So assume human for now. Might be the case, might not be the case. Depends. And is also a homebrew class, Cardmaster, I believe. So basically you draw cards instead of constantly, like, using spell slots. It's very flavorful, I love it. Tabby is also a merchant. She is very, she, of the group, if I had to, like, slot people into things, she'd be very smart. She'd go into one of the smarter aspects. Even though she's also very charismatic. Well, I got 3 people in the party who are very charismatic. And then, and Tabby is played by someone from our original ensemble whose character will not be making an appearance. They're not dead, they're alive, they just wander, and they don't like to be in one place for too long, so it's very hard to know where they are. So, yes. And now, the last player character of this ensemble. Jarrett Wainston. So, Jarrett is, I'm also gonna be withholding, I'm also gonna be withholding race, so assume human. Assume human. And, his class is Artificer, his subclass is Alchemist. He is the group's healer. And right now, of the entire group, I will also say that Jarrett's player is also a player in our Wednesday night game and our Tuesday night game. He is also new to Elebor. He's not a part of the original cast. He's also new, just like Arlight, so they at least have people who are, they both have someone that's equally new, so it's like, eh. Right now, we are actually having some drama in the party, and it's great on one hand, but on the other hand, it's getting to the point where it's just like, you might wanna get a little bit of character growth here in a minute. You might wanna evolve your character a bit, because with the way Jarrett's acting now, the party's getting really sick and tired of his attitude, because he's very sassy, snarky, but also scathing. He's comes off as rude. So he's made several retorts to people that have gotten him in a bit of, poking fun at, that kind of thing. The party does not like him right now. He's the one which everyone has a strained relationship with. Everyone else, they have a good relationship with. Like, quite literally. They have a good relationship with everyone else in the party except for Jarrett. And I'm like, I'm gonna be throwing something out that way I'm gonna be throwing two things. One in the next time we run, which is hopefully in 2 weeks. And hopefully, a week. And then another when they get to another city-state. I am not saying what, because I do not wish to be a spoiler. So therefore, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Jarrett. That doesn't work. I'm sorry. Yes. I am just totally hoping that helps, but basically the party got gathered by the quest-giving NPC called Vitel, who is a descendant of one of the original party members, and has formed this kind of group that's kind of like Scions of the Seventh Dawn-ish. They don't really care about borders. They just more care about people need our help, but gotta, do that. And so they formed a guild. His guildmates are now missing, and there's a threat that has come up. So, like, for all the different nations that are there, it's, heckin', people are getting kidnapped. They're, their people are getting kidnapped. Their magical supplies are being stolen for both potion making and spell crafting. And then there are undead attacks that are happening on their caravans and in general. So they're on a quest to basically help set people free, help liberate the stolen goods, and then try and figure out who's causing all this and basically put an end to it. Basically, this is my whole excuse for dungeon crawls and going to each of the fucking nations and seeing, kind of getting people into the world kind of thing, so. currently they've done one of the two that have been successfully completed. They're on the second one now. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown on the nations. The nations are that they'll be visiting are, or already visited, Rilve, Elebor, Albion, and the Mobuino jungles. There's another nation that is very seclusionist, so not a lot of people go there anyways, and they're not threatened by this for some reason. The Fairy Kingdom. So, yeah. They've already done Rilve. Rilve is done. They've killed the undead and set people free, liberated the goods, gotten some clues. And then that's where a lot of people were kind of, like, getting annoyed at Jarrett, because he made a comment towards the military people, and a lot of people were immediately just like, shut the fuck up. So, that was fun. That was really fun. So now, right now they're worrying about Elebor, which is where Castian is from. So this is quite literally Rilve. No one had any ties to except for Tabby, and that was more of like merchant styled and wild card. And now they're in an area where it's actually someone's home, and it's very different, and I find that fun to play around with because I'm the person that likes to bring in drama to the campaign, quite a decent amount of it. I kind of went a little bit too hard on original. I Game of Thrones'd a lot of NPCs into death in various ways. I've learned my lesson. I'm not killing as many this time. They can interact, and if they want to try and kill them, be my guest. They've had a run-in with Chancellor Kai and Prince Sebastian, as well as the two other royal children in Princess Aurora and Prince Edward. Edward is such a fucking bitch. Like, if I'm trying, I don't often try and make my players hate NPCs, but I'm purposefully trying to make them hate Edward, and so far I have succeeded. Because Edward looked at Castian while they were having their little meeting and trying to praise them of the situation with everything going on, and Edward was just like, watch your mouth, common blood, and I was like, bleh. After that session, I was like, I need to go get soap and put it in my mouth, because, it was I do not like playing evil characters. I hate playing evil characters. Well, he's not necessarily evil, but he's an asshole. I don't like playing assholes. It's so bad. It's so bad. I just wanted to go and get all of that taste out of my mouth because, oh my god, I hated playing him. I hated playing him so bad. But at the same time, it's needed to show that how good the other two siblings are, because Sebastian and Aurora, they take care of their people, they're really good people, they put everyone else first and then themselves. They are a little bit upset about not being able to leave the capital, but it's for their own good, and Sebastian has only sneaked out a few times, I will say that much. Sebastian is definitely the person in the group to sneak out the most of the royal siblings. He's definitely the one that's like, okay, and the guards will come by and slip out. Because he's privy to all of the heckin' guard rotations in the palace, because he's one, prince, and for two, he's a commander of a military contingent. Basically, he's commander of, like, the elites of Elebor in terms of military, which is where the White Company comes in, which is how Castian knows him. They're best friends. They're full-on just, like, really good friends, confidants, you know, just, hey, why don't you come sneak out with me? Kind of deal. Sneak out with me and I can tell you all my secrets. And the things that are bothering me. Meanwhile, Aurora is the Elebor negotiator. She's basically, the way I've described her is she's a perfect blend of the two twin characters that I played in original, because Keela and her sister Fila survived that whole thing, that whole song and dance. And so Aurora is the perfect blend of the two. Mischievous and hot-headed, capable of fighting, but also very charismatic and knows how to play political games. All the children know how to play political games. Aurora is just the one that takes great great joy in doing so, because she also plays pranks on them a lot. No one is safe from her. Waiting for them to eventually get her and another character in the same room, and there's gonna be some fireworks, as in they're gonna be really fucking mischievous together. So they've met them, they get all their stuff, and then Cassian invites the party to dinner at his family home, where those that came, which is Thibrock and Tabby, because Badrick wasn't there. Arlight was missing for half the episode until after the dinner, and Jarrett said no, like the asshole that he is. So it was Thibrock, Cassian, and Tabby. They got to meet Cassian's parents. They were very nice people, very hospitable, very much of, oh, you work with our son, well, you're basically family. We will treat you like one. Here's a delicious spread of dinner. Okay. Then Sebastian also joined them, because he was also invited. And of course, they had a wonderful time, had a lot of fun. A certain card master might be crushing on Castian's sister. Wink, wink, hint, hint. They'll be seeing more of the sister later, because she's fun to play. She's still kind of young, but she's old enough to be in the White Company too, like her brother, and you know, it's fun. And then we all got to tease Arlight when they entered and be like, heh heh, kind of tease, because Arlight is not subtle, but ignores it. Arlight has a major crush on Badrick, like full on, very horny for him, to the point of, I mean, good luck with that, but like, you know. Just, you know, eventually I'm sure they'll end up being a thing, but we're still very early in the campaign. And then, we recently had our previous session in going to the Maginarch Keep within Elebor's borders to get to a place faster, getting appraised on what's happening in Albion alongside, meeting some NPCs that are going to be highly recurring. The Grey Knights, Thibrock's militia back in Albion. Basically, their leaders are his, like, best friends. And then they started traveling. Oh, I should also mention that the Mishing Guild members for Vatel, his guild is called the Wanderers. They found Sarah and Jarud, who were in Rilvey's dungeon, and freed them, and now they're staying there to help mop up messes and all that, and convey things. And so far, for Elebor, they have met Polo, who is a member of the Wanderers who mainly take care of Elebor. So, was very, very, I basically, sometimes I do things, I don't actually do combat sometimes, I make it a cutscene fight. Basically, here's how enemies you can kill, how do you want to kill them? Because I'm not a big fan of doing combat. I struggle with making it balanced. and making it much. And I try to like spice things up in the past, and it hasn't always worked because my creativity goes to the story and character arcs and backstories and all that. It doesn't go to combat. So, but at the same time, that's what my co-DMs are for. I have my boyfriend and my best friend as my co-DMs, and they're the ones that I often ask for their opinions. So, but yes, next week, and by next week, I don't mean tomorrow. I mean fully next week. Hopefully, we get to play this, and they get to go through a dungeon for Elebor to rescue people and to kill undead. I'm very much looking forward to it because there's a story beat that I'm hitting for this, and I'm not going too in depth on it because again, if I have a player who's in here and watching, then I don't want to spoil them because that's no fun. I will also say this about my DMing style. Not only have I not done a lot of railroading and letting it be a lot more player agency, oh god, my brain just decided, and there goes your train of thought. Poof. Fuck me running. It's something about my DMing style. Something about my DMing style. I don't remember what. My brain was just like, nope, there you go. Okay. So, let's talk about comment. That's gonna bug me. Growl. Okay, let's just retrace steps real quick. To get to go through a dungeon. Wasn't really good at combat. Didn't like it. Creativity went to story and character backstories and all that. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, I had my train of thought back. Went back into the station. It's not really DMing style, but it's something I blabbed so much about my plans in original. Like fully, I blabbed a lot. I'm like, okay, here's the order of character arcs. Here's kind of what to expect. And now this time I'm a lot more secretive because I like to record sessions of games that I'm in with people's permission. So then, in case, like, we forget what happened, or, we just want to listen to it again, relive our past mistakes, or be like, I just want to have it in the background for background noise. In one of the videos that I recorded, I think it was actually after the recording, so I don't think it was actually in the video, but I was teasing my players. I'm like, one thing I will say, no, I'm not going to say that. One thing I can say, no, I can't say that either. Like, I was like, oh, secret. Quite literally, the only people that are in on my entire planning is my boyfriend and my best friend who play Thyn and Castian. Because I'm an indecisive bitch sometimes. And sometimes I don't know exactly what I want, but I have an idea, and I just need to flush it out a little bit more. And that's where they come in. They're also helping me a bit with combat, in terms of, like, trying to balance it. And it's going so far so good, actually, so. Because in the original game, it was my best friend and then Tabby's player as my co-DMs. And then I kind of switched it out because Tabby's player wasn't really there. So, so yes. My brain is scatterbrained. I apologize. Basically, so Elebor is the one they're currently at, and they're doing the dungeon run next time. It might take 2 sessions, depending. But we'll see. I'm playing with a little bit more drama behind the scenes. I'm not gonna say much. Again, just in case my players are watching. You know, that whole thing. But there are 2 nations left after this. It's Albion and the Mobino Jungles. I have a strong feeling they're gonna save the jungles for last. But I am not going to assume anything. I'm not going to jot anything down until I hear it from their mouths where they're going after Elebor. So, the jungles are where Badrick and Arlike are from. There are jungle people who are very much into, like, voodoo magic and shamans and shadowmen, you know, that sort of thing, except they're not evil about it. If they were evil, I'd be concerned, because they're scary as normal. So, it's always fun to have people from the jungles, because it's so different from the other places, because it's just like, we have kingdoms with kings and queens and a council and duchesses, and then we have the jungles, magic go boom. The jungles are actually one of the places, because of the jungles, undead are kind of seen in a bit more of a positive light. I say slightly, because there are connotations to that. Basically, the undead are basically called duppies. They are souls who want to repent, and it's totally up to that soul. Or if that soul still wants to help and stay, it's up to the soul. It's not up to the person, it's up to the soul. There are different types of duppies. There's the main duppy, and then there's going to be Hellhound, and then one more that's really scary. But those will come more into play later. Me and Badrick's player were like sending art to each other of like, basically, the one thing I do like about the jungles is it wasn't completely my own world building, because the basis of it came from the player that played Domare, who's playing Badrick. And so quite literally, it was a collaboration. Like, a lot of the stuff is a lot more of a collaboration than you think. Some of them just have my hand stronger in it than others. Like, Rovay was also made by Kai's player. Unknown Kingdom was made by me and then flushed out a little bit by Morgan, and then Elebor was wholly myself. Yeah, the jungles are very fun. They're much more collaborative, but it's also a lot hotter down there, so good luck. And then for the other nation that they're going to eventually is Albion, which wasn't always known as Albion. When I first started the original game, it was known as the Unknown Kingdom. Because I didn't have a name, so I'm just gonna throw that. They don't know the name of it, so bleh. And, after the campaign, and actually during the campaign, it became known as Albion and was sent much more into kind of a, you know, just, It was fun. It was really it was fun. Super fun. To just have that totally turned on its head from a place of the bad guys to a place of basically good guys too. But Albion is much more like Japanese and Chinese style, like Oriental kind of area. But it's also kind of mixed with like, you know, that whole thing, like Gothic. It's also mixed with Gothic, you know? It's very interesting. It comes down to which family you're a part of and what they personally believe, kind of thing. And it's fun. Because some of them do lean more into kind of the Oriental side, and others lean more into the Gothic side. It's very fun to differentiate. And Albion is where Thevrock is from. Thevrock and Jarrett. Thevrock is just a bigger name than Jarrett. Because Thevrock is one of the noblemen. He is actually on the Parliament and is the representative of his house. He's also the kind of forefront with money, because Morgan set up a trading company during the original game, and it's still going, and almost everyone in Albion has debts with his family. And here's the thing that's making Jarrett kind of lash out, I think, is because his family owes the Rock money because of his grandfather. And his family has been trying to pay it off, and that will lead into reasons. My DM excited voice is showing. So, just, you know, that. It's fun. But more story things to come. So my hope is that they go to Albion next, because otherwise, oop. That was unexpected. But I'm not afraid about saying this, because this one, it's not so much a spoiler, because I will be implementing this. Because for me, there's something that I've never understood about D&D, and some things that didn't sit right with me. So I'm implementing them. I like a little bit of realism, not a lot. Still keep it fantasy, but add a little bit of realism. It's just that's my thing. So, like, I'm gonna start with diseases. You tell me, adventurers go into the places they go to, all the dungeons, all that exposure, all that, all the stress. They don't get sick? Like, if it says that you're immune to diseases, then I can understand. But if you don't have that, how are you not getting sick? So, like, you know, eventually I'll get it to the point of, after they go into certain areas, have them roll a con save, and if they succeed, they're fine, they're good. If they fail, they get sick. And then I'm going to come up with, like, you know, because there's many different types of sicknesses. I'm not going to do anything too severe, because I'm not a bitch. Maximum they'd probably get is the flu or something like that. Nothing with, like major heckin', you know, like, it's not like, oh, you have cancer now. No. I'm not going to be that person. I am not going to be that person. So, but that's only part one of 2 things I'm implementing. I'm also going to be implementing something, again, it's things that I find hard to believe. Long rests and injuries. Like, like, for example, if we put that into real life terms, you get stabbed, you get stitches, and you get treated for it. But that's not going to heal overnight. with a good rest. Like, that's not how we're supposed to work. So, I'm gonna be implementing, like, if they get past a certain point of injury, like, scrapes and bruises, yeah, I can kind of understand. Wouldn't have too much prevalence. But, like, if they get injured down to, like, a certain point, they're gonna have to take some time to fucking recover from that, more than just a long rest, because, like, that, like, question mark, question mark? So, yee, I will be implementing those, because, also, for one, also, I like it from a story perspective, because if you look at media, if you look at books, TV shows, movies, you know, anime, cartoons, that whole thing, there's always that kind of point where, like, you've had something big happen, and then towards the end of it, someone gets hurt or injured, and then we have to take, like, those sabbatical episodes, those filler episodes, kind of thing. Because, like, every good story needs to have come-down moments before going back into a crescendo kind of deal. So that's another reason, like, especially with implementing, like, those two things, like, you know, it basically gives them a reason to actually stop and take a breath, stop to explore places, stop to interact with NPCs that I have in the area, you know, just kind of get themselves a little more acclimated, kind of learn a bit more, you know, that whole thing. You know, just have the kind of sessions that the party met Cassian's parents with, you know, just kind of that whole thing where you're relaxing and you're not doing the main story, but you're gonna get to it. You just need time to rest. And so that's what I'm hoping that will achieve, because to be fair, I'm much more of a story person than mechanics person, much more rule of cool than anything else. So, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And if people start to question, but those aren't the rules, I'm the DM. But, I'm sorry, I've been talking for like almost 2 hours. Non-stop. I'm taking a drink. Much better. Let me just crack open that other bottle real quick. There we go. And before you guys ask, it is not alcohol, it's Gatorade. It's always my favorite. It's always my go-to drink. But, yeah, I'll be implementing that. So, that should be fun. I'm gonna enjoy them interacting with NPCs, because I know how some of them act, some of them I don't, but, like, I want them to interact with those NPCs. Like, I got a lot of them. I have military NPCs, I have noble NPCs, I have business NPCs, I have royal NPCs, you know, whole 9 yards. But, in terms of, like, my favorite area of my world, the world's name is Aragon. Of the whole continent of Aragon, my favorite place is obviously Elebor, because it's in the campaign name, Burning Stars of Elebor, not, you know. So, okay, also because it has the magic shields, and those are my babies. I love them. I love playing Sebastian. Sebastian's great. Okay. But, actually, the music you're hearing right now is actually in my Elebor playlist. Because, yes, I do have a playlist specifically for Elebor for songs I want to use there. Because I am that type of person that has to have music with my D&D game. If I don't have music, I'm like, excuse me, is even playing? What the fuck? So, I actually got a theme commissioned for Elebor, an original, and I use it to open each session. And I love it. I'm not going to play it now because that's a lot of scrolling, and I don't feel like doing that. But what I can do is leave a link, and I can actually shout out the person that did it. Lucas Quinn. He does fantasy theme songs. And it's definitely worth the money. It's definitely worth the money. Like, fully worth it. So, it was like $40. It wasn't that bad. So, if I slip into original talk, that I'm gonna be here for the rest of the night. So, I've been talking about original longer than I talked about my Thursday games. So, let's actually switch to the last day that I have D&D on, which is Tuesday. Tuesday's game is called Aragon, Tip of the Lance. Do not take that as a fucking euphemism. Thought someone knocked on my door, but good though. Aragon, Tip of the Lance is DM'd by my best friend, Castian's player. He has... no, I'm not gonna go there. That's not the point of this whole thing. My character there is named Anduin. The name is based off of Anduin in WoW, because I did like the name. Just not that character in particular. And so Anduin is a Half Orc Artillerist Artificer. Pure Artificer. Anduin is very much a character that's a lot of firsts for me, because he was my first ever male player character that I ever made. He was my first artificer I had ever made, and then he was my first half orc that I've ever made as a player. So he's my first boy. Oh my gosh, but I love him as a character. Like, dude, he is so good. He's so fun to play. Love him. Hold up. Okay. Sorry, someone came into my room. I tried to mute. I apologize. Man, I'm checking out what I'm gonna be checking out what they said after my stream. So hopefully that didn't mess up my, because I clicked something. I'm like, ah. But Anduin's personality is very much, he cares a lot, he's secretive, but it's more of towards his past than anything. For good reason, and I'm not gonna start spilling the beans now, especially if you play in Aragon. I am not spilling the beans. Because we're in Anduin's character arc, and I want people to go in fresh. So, ding 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 ding. But he was words. But so I'm not gonna go into Anduin's past. But I will go into what they already know in the meta, so you guys know. Anduin, oldest son of a noble family of House Tharash. And he is... what also they do know is that Anduin is very gay. He's very gay, so his unofficial theme song is "There, right there, is he gay or European?" from Legally Blonde. And it fits, yeah. Because so far he has crushes on like a lot of people. Some of them are mainly looks, some of them are for personality based, and he's like, oh god. He got teased the other day of like, so which one have you chosen? And he's like, hebe. Hebe. Kind of thing, so. Yeah, Anduin, noble, gay. Noble is very in the meta because he only introduced himself as Anduin. So it's eventually going to get to the point of him being like, I didn't introduce myself by my full name, and I apologize. That is going to come up, and I love it. I'm here for the drama. There's a lot of drama going on with him. And funny enough, before I get into like story and lore, I'm still going to blab about my boy because he's my boy. My baby. Anduin is actually the leader of the party, which I was not expecting. Because, Anduin is an artificer. I thought for sure in terms, because I'm talking about, like, you know, the 5-man band trope. Check out Overly Sarcastic Productions if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's fun. That's how I learned. I thought for sure he would be smart guy, but then everybody put him in the leadership role, and then I started playing him. I played him more often, and the more I did it, the more I was like, yeah, actually. I see why you put him in the leader slot, guys. I see why you put him in the leader slot. Because Anduin, he's a very selfless individual. He cares more about other people than himself. Classic leader trope, kind of. Except a little more complicated. He likes being able to help people. He loves the way that makes him feel because he's helped people for a long time. Was just very, like, very much just, that's what he did back home. A lot. Also, I'm gonna switch here. Because, I'm gonna scroll down so not to see the map, but I am gonna show you my boy. Come on, there we go. Gotta zoom in. Yes, my boy. That's my boy. Going as far as I can go. Look at that art. Like, that's good fucking art. That's my boy. That's Anduin, and I love him. I actually didn't pay for the art. I won it in a raffle on Tumblr, and I love it. I love him. Look at him. But yeah, he likes to help other people. He's very selfless. If someone is struggling, because Aragon is set in a school, because right now for like the campaign we're set in the school, and he's always like, oh, do you guys need help studying? Because I 100% can help you with that. And, like, you know, doing study groups, making sure everyone's up on time, you know, that whole thing. Just gung-ho, boom, kind of deal. So, yeah, my mind is blanking, I apologize. Brain, 2 + 2 = fish, English = hard, yes, all of those things. All of it. All of those things. Basically, alongside wanting to help people, he's 100% willing to be like, if you have problems, come talk to me. I can try and help. Not sure how much help it'll be, but you can trust me. And that's mainly towards the party. That's towards the rest of the party, mainly. So it's just, you know. It's funny, because he doesn't do the same thing in return. He's a big old hypocrite. Because, yeah, he doesn't like to talk about his past. He doesn't like to open up, because reasons. And everyone, I like that of all of the, like, player characters, there was one person that I play with in that game is, he goes, I want to know more about Anduin because he's the most secretive of the bunch. And I'm like, I mean, you ain't wrong. He's very secretive. He doesn't like people poking around in his past. Words. Words come to me, please. Please, I beg of thee, words, grace my lips. Okay, so, with that, though, I'm gonna give a rundown of the other characters. Unfortunately, their tokens are up on this fucking map, so I can't show you guys them. Actually, wait. No, I'm not doing that, because I don't want to do that, because some of our art is, since we're not actively streaming it, we do find art on the internet, and we just say, this looks closest to what I have in mind. I am not showing art that I can't find the artist credit for, because I am not gonna be that bitch. So, and nowhere else. I'm gonna give a rundown on everyone else's player characters, because yay! So other than Anduin, we have Elebor, who is played by my boyfriend, who is a male elf Labrys Knight, which is a homebrew subclass, who is basically like our main tank. He has like HP things for day. He has HP for days. He has like 90 HP right now. He has a really good AC. He has abilities to up his AC and get temporary hit points. It's really strong, but at the same time, we like homebrew in this household. And Elebor is actually one of the ones that Anduin has a crush on. Like, majorly. Because he spends the most time, he's one of the people he spends around the most, you know? kind of thing. He's also good looking, so that always helps. And then we have Gastron, who is played by my Thursday night DM. He is a male Goliath Sinrot, which is another Humber class, which is based around the 7 deadly sins. He's gluttony, specifically. He's another tank. He's more of an AC tank than hit point tank. But he can deal decent damage so long as he hits with his greatsword. He also has a very epic mustache, and he's also the cook of the group. He's the heart. He's the heart of the group. Very, very much the heart of the group. Quite literally, one of the things that comes up the most is, makes a comment about the cooking. Very pleased boy. And here's the thing. Gastron was originally supposed to be, like, neutral evil or something, and the way he acted, we were like, are you sure he's evil-aligned? And he's like, you're right, he's not. I'm gonna change that to, like, chaotic good. Because he's so wholesome. He is best boy. He is our must-protect of group. And, like, Anduin has said, if we have to, woe be the day we go without your cooking, my friend. Because, my god, the man knows how to cook. He makes fucking military rations good. That's so hard. But, then we have Ordeco, which is, Jarrett's player, who is a deep, divine soul sorcerer, who is our healer. Coming into his own a little bit in magic, he was very skittish when we first met him, and now he's kind of unlocking the Chaos Gremlin and taking jabs at party members, and it's really fun. He's the one that made the comment of, so who have you chosen, to Anduin? It's great. So, Lyrithan, Gastron, Ordeco. Then we have Justinian, who is DM PC. We do sometimes do DM PCs if we have low enough numbers. Justinian is a male human fighter, champion, specifically. He's very impressive with spear work, and he also looks really good. I will not lie. And he is number 2 for Anduin's affection on his crush list. So, he has 2 party members that he's eyeing, and that's kind of fun, because eventually they're both gonna find out, and then, rivalry, perhaps, to get his affection? Who knows? And then we, also, Justinian is not from, where they're at. He's from a different nation. I'll get more into the lore in a little bit, because boy oh boy do I got a lot. And then finally, we have, Angelo, who is played by my boyfriend's roommate, who is also in our, Monday game. Angelo is also male human, except mastermind rogue. And he is our evil aligned of the party, and, yeah, he acts the part. He's basically like mafia. He's the mafia of the group. Because quite literally, he speaks in an Italian accent, and, you know, he's all about the hustle, and what can I get you, and, you know, all that. And it's just like, on one hand, you're gonna give Anduin a headache, and on the other hand, I'm loving this. Angelo is also the newbie to the group. He came in late, and it was just kind of like, oh, we weren't expecting that. Okay, you match well with us, okay. So, in terms of story, this is gonna be fun. The reason why I say that is because I am about to start recording I'm about to start recording those, about to record those sessions of Aragon, and we need a big old recap, especially for, Angela's player, who was not there for us at the very beginning of the game. And so I have taken it upon myself to put together the recap episode, which will be taking place tomorrow. I will not be streaming it. I will not be posting it publicly because it's for us. We're one of those people that we do not want to deal with the internet's views. I don't mind talking about it after it's happened, or saying the lore and the story of it. I am just not going to post sessions or stream them. That ain't happening. But I'm the one that asked the question, so I feel responsible to be fairly organized with it at least. So I've been going through and making a big old list. So far I'm at 4 pages. A lot of it is towards the end. And also, if you see here, I have documents here that are basically what happened because I liked them so much that I put them in a Google Doc. And I'm just kind of slowly going through and filling out the ones I do remember. Because, I want to know, I want to be somewhat organized instead of just kind of throwing things out willy-nilly, you know? Just like, it's very, heckin', words. It's because I want to actually do right by it, and so there's some areas that I'm fuzzy with, because if you notice the, like, 4th, heckin', big old, bullet point, the fuzzy area, and then sessions 6 through 9, those are the sessions where I'm like, it's a little fuzzy for me. Either I full on do not remember what happened, or I know kind of what happened, and the rest is fuzzy. Hence the fuzzy area as the name. But yes, we have had 27 sessions of Aragon, and that is fucking impressive. That is fucking impressive. So, you know, start of the game, we get introduced to everyone, we go through orientation because we are in a school, we get put into the same class, at said school. And then we get our first lessons, which was very fun. It was very entertaining to see and to hear. It was a lot of, like, exploring first dynamic kind of thing before going into combat, because then immediately after start of the game section is capture the flag, which was an activity that we did when we were first starting. This was back before Angelo was a part of our group, back before Justinian was a part of the group. Basically, it was Class Omega and another kind of elite group versus, like, the normal students. Because Class Omega is, like, you're training to be the fucking elites, guys. They're training to become basically, like, I don't want to say Marines or Navy SEALs, like, oh god, I don't even know what to refer to because I don't know military very well, so I'm not going to say anything. The elites, they're #1 military kind of thing. And so we're going through, we're like, okay, we need strategy, so we do strategy, and then we actually fight. Anduin one-shots a guy because he noticed a group walking from the other team. 2 of them were being ridiculously loud, and the other was quiet. And the quiet one was a spellcaster, so he took aim with his gun and basically one-shotted him in the head. He still feels bad about that. Like, Anduin still feels really bad about one-shotting him to this day. Quite literally, just the other session, like, quite literally, last session, he gifted him something with like, a note being like, your bitterness/hatred is well-deserved, and I still apologize for it. I hope one day we can overcome this and be friends. For now, here's a physical apology. And then he gave him a gift with a note. So it's just like, just put that there and walk away. Because charisma is one of his dump stats. But then we also get to go and get the flag. And on the other team, there was the Prince of the fucking Kingdom, who is also very attractive, who is another one of Anduin's crushes. Anduin is just gonna be a harem protagonist who is just like, oh, I don't know who to choose. Eventually he'll choose, just not now. But Class Omega ends up being victorious with no one going unconscious, surprisingly. And we celebrate. In the fuzzy area, I don't really know what happens in Alpha and Omega, and perfectly legal, I assure you, which Star Wars reference, ding, 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 ding. But I do know field experience, I know a little bit about field experience in Battle of the Citadel. Field experience is, as the name suggests, we go out and get field experience. We hear that our school store owner, Kaus, is having trouble with bandits, and they've taken another shipment, and we offer to help, like the selfless students that we are. And so we go to our headmaster, Reese Kalakai, and are like, hey, why don't we, give him a hand? We're training to be Class Omega. Why the fuck not? Like, come on. Give us some field experience. Give us some good shit. And so we get sent out into the field. And basically, we were coming up with a plan as soon as we got to where the bandits are headquartered. And we stopped after we got a plan. And then Battle of the Citadel is the actual fight. It wasn't much of a battle, though. We pretty much one-shot these guys. It was hilarious. It was very hilarious. We eventually take down all the mooks outside. We go inside and see the bandit leader, and we're about to fucking throw down. Then people from the nation Justinian is from, which is called the Imperium Rios, which is based off of Rome, take a shot if people are listening from that area, because Aragon DM does a lot of Rome shit. But I approve because it's cool. So, the Imperium Rios people come in, and we're just like, oh shit, these guys are higher level than us probably, and could wipe the floor with us. But yet they do not seem to be interested in fighting us. In fact, the leader of the group comes forward to the bandit leader, and is just like, you disappoint us. You were supposed to go off and find your calling, not do whatever this is. But no buts, you're coming home. The leader turns to us and is just like, I apologize on behalf, and I hope there are no ill feelings. You may take your loot and get on. Once again, apologies, and walks with the bandit leader out into the secret port. And it's just like, of the entire group, the person that realized that was like, oh shit, these guys are like mean business, was Anduin. That was where his like leadership skills started coming out, because he was like the voice of reason, accepting the apology and realizing where they were from, because he's an artificer. Intelligence is one of his highest stats. So okay, we return it's the loot is missing one greatsword, but they overlook it because Gastron needed an upgrade, which we do not mind in this household because he does better damage with it now. But onward we go into the next area. Enter Justinian. That is where we get Justinian as a party member. Sessions 10 through 12. I'm gonna butcher this and I apologize, but it is Latin, so Novus Discipulus, meaning new disciple, quite literally, is where we first meet Justinian. We come back from our infield experience with Battle of the Citadel. We have all the loot, we leveled up, I think. And then the next day, we wake up and there's a commotion outside. And it's some Imperium Rios people. Two very important looking people. One of them is around our age, and then they get seen by the Archmage and Headmaster of the group. And that's where we realize that we have a new person into Class Omega. And so that whole thing is like introducing ourselves to him and like, alright, let's get you settled in, let's have a little bit of base RP, and then crash for sleep. The next one, training, is basically that we were training. It was a filler before the exhibition match. Basically in training, Elerathon couldn't be there, so it was Ordeco, Gastron, Anduin, and Justinian in the training grounds doing sparring matches. Anduin went first against Justinian and lost. Yes, I was not surprised, but he took it like a champ. He tried to get distance and failed. He played cat and mouse for a long time. Lost. And then it was Justinian and Gastron. That one was a much closer fight. Justinian ended up winning. Q, Anduin's like hiding, blushing kind of thing. Next to Ordeco, who immediately catches on like, ooh, Anduin might have a crushie. And then it was Gastron versus Anduin, which that one was also very close as well. Like, we were both on 1 HP. And we just decided, why not do a draw? So it was a draw. So yeah, that was very fun. Ordeco didn't take place because he's not confident enough in his ability. But, exhibition match. Title suggests we had the whole party there, and we worked together really well. We were covering for one another. Gastron ran interference for Anduin when he was starting to get put on by, like, the melees of the opposing group. We were up against Knights of Castilla, by the way. That was fun. Basically, Gastron ran interference for Anduin. He hit like a truck, and he pulled a fastball special and throwing Elerathon over to the other side of the map. Elerathon ran interference for Ordeco. He knocked two guys out, dealing a buttload of damage and taking care of himself. Ordeco used a lot of dissonant whispers, opportunity attacks, and in some instances, multiple of them, and those hurted, like, ridiculously. So, Justinian put on a show of polar mastery with a halberdier on the opposing side, which, towards the end, Anduin had to force himself to not stare at him. But then, I had a lot of stuff for, Anduin. He vaulted over a halberdier that was coming after him after using Shocking Grasp on him to get himself out of a sticky situation, aka taking no damage, no attacks of opportunity, that sort of thing. He shot a shield and sword guy into the hole in the middle of the map. Because, force cannon, those are useful as shit. He had to shoot off with the captain of the other side, which turned out to be the princess of the fucking kingdom he's in. He's like, the demon's like, and as you shoot, you hit the helmet, and it shatters away into one side, and you see a woman's face staring back at you. And Anduin is just like, okay, fine, so, I'm still gonna fight her. I'm not interested. Fuck you. He had a lot of gay panic at just sitting in an Elithan, and he gave the party their pins. And when I say pins, I mean pins, like full-on pin it on your shirt. Or your armor, if it's good enough. Basically, it conveys their personality. Very much conveys their personality. Their fighting style, and then a gem of their favorite color inserted somewhere where he deems appropriate. Whew. Which, those pins now have messaging on them, so now everyone can communicate at one space at one time, so then no one else gets, fucking yeeted. Okay. Before I continue to festival time, I'm gonna take a drink. I'm gonna take lawn swigs. My throat hurts. Festival time. Festival of the Griffin is the festival of the unification of the unification war for the Isles, and its Festival of the Griffin is celebration specific. It's in the town that's close by Lancer Academy where we're studying. And so we went around, we got little badges from our headmaster, Calikai. And we teased him a little bit before going into town. Got to see the tavern where Class Omega rents out. Got Gastron into the back to cook, and the owner was so impressed that it's just like, I might have to, if you keep coming back and doing this, you're hired. And I'm like, you're welcome. Because I convinced him to let him, Gastron, try to cook. And I'm happy that I did, because he doesn't have good charisma, so... And then we did some games, which was fun. I don't remember what Alpha of Omega was, unfortunately. So, skip. Skip-a-doo, skip-a-doo, skippy-skippy-skip-a-doo over that one. Battle of Hillside Keep. Oh, wait, I remember now. Alpha of Omega was us going back to the festival, hearing a speech from the king that had visited, and us getting all set up and to get strategy for battle for the recreation of the battle for Hillside Keep. Strategy took us a bit. And so we ended after we got a strategy. And then the next time we played, we did Battle of Hillside Keep, which basically, we did a recreation battle. It was Class Omega versus a lot of enemies, quote unquote. We weren't fighting to the death, but we were fighting to win. So we had a lot of mooks. We killed quotation marks. We made a show of it. We also have a rule in a lot of our games, like if you roll a natural 1 on an attack, the person you're attacking gets their reaction to use to basically make another attack back at you, because you leave yourself wide open enough to do it. It goes both ways. It can go for PCs and NPCs. Someone did that on Anduin, and Anduin's reaction was to shoot them better than they tried to shoot him. And go, your aim's that bad? How'd they let you out of school? Somewhere along those lines. And it was very fucking vicious, and I'm like... And everyone was like, ooh. But then we got to do the boss fight after all the mooks, and that was fucking scary. Because it was someone who obviously was also a fighter, but also a wizard, and could do, like, sword staff combo and a lot of fire. Gastron went down, and everyone else was getting hurt except for Anduin, and we did it. We defeated him. We did it. We defeated him, and I was very happy because my theory was correct. Because my theory was that the Black Knight, which was the boss, was our headmaster Rhys Calikai. Because I'm like, oh, you know, if it was that, then, you know, it was a bit of a walk, but I still came up with a theory, but it was correct. And I loved it. Because everything that I thought of, Anduin is thinking too, so it's just like, eh. Just goat laugh. Eh. Ooh. So we won, and we stopped after we won, and then afterward, and then the next session was the follow-up of Hillside Keep, which meant we were apologizing, we were helping to heal people, we were actually getting a meal set up also out there. The king came to see us, which my guy Anduin's brain shorted out a little bit, because it was just like, the king actually came to see us? Like, whoa? Bullshit. Okay. And the king's closest advisor is a technomancer, which is basically what Anduin is. And he was just like, he's interested in Kai, who is the bird for Anduin. I just decided to make a reference to Elebor with the name. And then we went back and we started to chill, like, fully. And then it was just like... And then enter Once Upon a Time. And we started actually telling... And then we had two people from former class Omega, which was Rhys Calikai and Valrain Truthcaller. And they started to swap stories. And that led into Once Upon a Time, where we picked back up, but we also got introduced to another character called Vina Stroud, who I get to play, who is a little chaos gremlin in both time periods. I love her. It's fun. It's very fun. Very, very fun. And they continue with the storytelling, and it was very, 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 very fun. I have all the stories, but I don't want to say them all. It was a lot of stories from their time, a lot of embarrassing stories, a lot of funny stories, and then some serious stories. Some teases. And then enter Angelo. Fortune favors the blind. I actually don't remember much of this one. I think it was just us getting introduced to him and just kind of making our rounds like a normal day after hearing stories. So, but we were smiling so much during that session, like it was ridiculous. And Angela was really, really nice, a really good breath of fresh air to all these serious peoples in the party. Then after that, we get into character arcs. You can't see it, but I'm doing jazz hands. Because, basically what we like to do in our games is we like to tie in character stories to plot, or make them their own plots that get resolved outside of the main story. Elerathins was up first. We got up in the morning after Angelo came to us. Then Delia, who is Reese Kellikai's wife, comes in and is like, "Hey, I'm here to ask a favor. I'm missing a niece, and my family wants you to help look, so I'm pulling in a favor." So I don't have good relationships with my brother, but everyone else, I kind of got my brother and his wife and their eldest son. But my niece is missing. Could you go help look? I am concerned for her. So she paid for our ferry tickets. We go over. We get to the island after everyone says what we were doing on the ferry, which wasn't a lot. A lot of us were kind of sticking to ourselves. Anduin was once in a while checking in on people, but other than that, not really anything. Words. And so we get to the island. We are met by Adaric, who is the youngest son of the noble house we're helping and nephew of Delia. He gives money to us and, while explaining what happened, leads us to the scene of the crime. Once we get there, which is an alchemist shop, and it's in the basement with the personal skunk, but also at the same time, this is where I mark him as like a good noble, because the guards were like slacking off on their duty, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get in trouble," and he's like, "Don't worry, it happens." And that's where I'm like, both me and Enda were like, I respect this man. But once we get down there, we started right away pretty much. Two people didn't really see much, was this Elerathin and Angelo. Angelo kept seeing shiny things like, "Ooh, piece of candy," except with things he could sell. However, Rideko and Anduin, we saw a faded magic circle with runes on the floor, and when we pointed it out, Adaric was like, "What? That's new. What the fuck?" I'm like, you guys didn't look too hard. Okay, noted. But we didn't get a lot of info at first on the circle, and then Ordeko poured magical energy into it, and Anduin cast Detect Magic on it. The circle was transmutation based. But also with that, Anduin saw like a panel hidden behind like a shelf that was lighting up with magic, and he was like, and he just kind of snapped his head over, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "There's magic behind that, move that shelf." And so Elerathin and Justinian did, and then he basically opened a hidden thing of revealing the alchemist to have been also a technomancer, which he's like, "I am even more mad now, because fuck these people." On the other side of that was a room with a small hatch, a desk, and a book. And so since Anduin can read the fastest, he basically takes the book and is just like, "Okay, the guy was actually helping people who were falsely accused of crimes and getting them out to a safe place. With that transmutation circle, because he turned them into different people. And set them up through the hatch. The daughter of the noble house we were helping, sister of Adaric, was a friend of his, and quite literally, it was just like, she asked him to transform her, and he did it knowing that it would kill him, but helped her become who she always meant to be. So, of course, the girl didn't want to be found, so, people were disappointed but understanding, and when asked what we were going to say that she was dead, so that no one would go looking. But then we got a fucking bomb dropped on us. Because, fucking, Anduin handed Elirthan the book, and when we were asking what we were gonna tell Delia, he was like, yeah, we should tell my aunt. Everyone was like, wait, what? Hold on a fucking moment. And just, wait, are you? And then he just turns to Adorix and says something along the, hello, little brother, and everyone just lost their fucking minds because Elirthan is trans. Trans icon, confirmed. And we love inclusion in this household. We stand it. Part 2 is basically coming down from that reveal and planning to royally screw over his parents and teach them a lesson while also showing who he really is. Basically a big old come-out party. It was great. It was really great. Anduin got on the magic pin to Reese Kalakai and it was their master, and it was just like, hey, so we might be needing to teleport out of here, so be ready. You got a couple hours, but you know, just in case. And then we got into the party. We smuggled our weapons in, just in case. Justinian. So it's people going through the servant route was Ordeco and Gastron. And then the people going through the front were Anduin, Angelo, and Justinian, with Elirthan being disguised as their female form. Just breeze on through, and we basically do like a big old song and dance, and then part 3 is where the fireworks exploded and we had a ballroom blitz. It was very fun. Elirthan just basically exposed most of his family except for Adaric, because Adaric is a good boy. We teleported out of there, and then we basically just bullshit. Then it was Ordeco's character arc, which I was expecting it to be Anduin's, but we're in it right now, so you know. Click, click, boom. Basically Ordeco got heckin' visions, and being spoke through him, and it's the person who gave him his powers, which we found out to be the Hollow, one of the most eldest gods. No intimidation factor there, my friends. No intimidation factor there. Totally none. Totally nothing. And so we had to go back to the Underdark, which is where he's from. He ran off after we got there, and we were like, you were our guide, you know, that whole thing. Elirthan is just like, I'm fucking leaving him. And then Justinian and Anduin were immediately, and Gastron were just like, no, we're gonna go find him. We're staying down here until we find him. Fuck off. If you want, you know, that kind of thing. But then everyone ended up looking for him. But here's the thing. Ordeco ran off with Kai still being on his shoulder. So once he got to his destination, Kai flew back and got us and guided us. So all worked out in the end. We gave him a firm chewing out. I thought there were going to be some physical blows with Elirthan there, but, yeah, didn't happen, which I was very happy about. Because Anduin does not like, full-on express emotion. He doesn't like it to be expressed by hitting people. He doesn't agree with it. For reasons. Shifty eyes. But Ordeco found talked to the Hollow, talked to his person that granted his powers, saw that person's memories, and then went into a secret library underneath a ruined prison, got a prayer book of said being that we didn't know it was, but we found, but it was just like a big old ancient library from like times past. In an ancient language we could not fucking read. even with comprehend languages. It's called Arcanon, the root of magic, of like magic, like verbal magic kind of thing. Only a few people know how to speak it, and a class of micrograduates knows how, including but not limited to Reese, Kelkay, Valin, Truthcaller, and Venus Stroud, plus a few more. But then our deco blew our fucking minds, went back up to battlements, and basically undid the acts of gods. Which is important because Anduin, and one of his goals is to bring down the fucking gods, because they're malevolent, not benevolent, and he doesn't like the fact that they're malevolent. He doesn't like living in fear of them. Whew. Had a big old talk about that. And then March of the New Knights. That was basically our whole thing of, that was our first taste of the main story. First taste of main story. So Justinian ended up missing the next morning after the whole thing with our deco. Went to look for him for a little bit, couldn't find him. So we started to do a student get-together setup without him. After Anduin told a teacher, though, because he's like, I'm noticing this, and I'm figuring I'm just gonna say it now, just to be safe, in case you guys find him. Tell him to come back. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go set up now. Thyn, though, went into the festival. That was still going on. And saw Justinian in the crowd and followed him up to a rooftop. And when Justinian spoke, it was not his voice. It was a shapeshifter, disguised as Justinian. And so this is where the heckin' pins enchanted with message spells came in handy. Because Thyn activated his to hear the entire sounds of fighting going through the pin, causing everyone else to go into a fucking panic and start sprinting towards the fucking town. We got there, Thyn he didn't get killed, he was okay, he got poisoned, but that went away because we had healers. We had some other students come and help us, so it wasn't just the party, it was a lot of NPCs. We had Reese Kalakai, we had Keth, words hard. Keth Silvershield, Captain of the Royal Guard, and then Venus Stroud, who's an admiral in the Navy, and Romero, who is a master at the school. So Anduin and Reese immediately take charge of the fucking situation and just start organizing people into teams to be like, okay, we need to find these shapeshifters, we need to do that, we need to find Justinian as quickly as possible. So we did. We split off into groups. We had 2 ground teams, a rooftop team, and a retrieval team. And right as we split into those groups, we were left on a cliffhanger. DM of Aragon, if you're watching this, how dare you have the audacity to do that? But also in the good way, because it's just like, it was fun. I can't speak because I do that all the time. So part 2, you notice I have a Google Doc, but I'm gonna recount it from memory because it was so fucking recent. We split off into our teams, and we actually get pulled into separate calls in Discord. So it's, first ground team, and it's with a student, and they don't find anything. And the next is the retrieval team, which I was a part of because Anduin is tech savvy. He was going back to campus alongside another NPC and 2 party members to get a device to help track down Justinian. Because we didn't know where he was. So we get to the dorm. There are two Castilian knights who are just like, insert Tamlin Hale, who is the NPC. You're under arrest, and immediately we're suspicious. Like, why the fuck are you? What did this is too convenient. And so, we have to knock the guys out. One of them did so with knives. I did so with a fucking gun, which woke everyone else up in the building. Cue crowd as we're searching the bodies. Anduin explains everything to the class leaders. Like, heckin' shapeshifters are out. Don't know how deep infiltration is. Something's going on. Send out the fucking alert and watch these guys while we go. And so they grab the invention and they leave. And then it's the rooftop team, which saw suspicious people walking towards a specific spot on the map. And, suspicious people on the roof as well. And then, it's the last ground team's turn, which is, consisted of Reese, Valrain, and Vina. And we see a group of shapeshifters go into an alley, and so we go in, we have a cutscene fight against them, we kill three of the four, and then Vina goes into the other one's minds and gets all the information she fucking needs, while liquefying his brain. It's extreme, yes, but it works. So therefore, so, yes. We all call in because we have pins, and so we report back everything. And so the more experienced people, Reese, Lorraine, Vina, Romero, they go back to the school to help with the plot that's happening there to kill, like, all the major people there. And then the rest of us go and deal with, the shapeshifters going after to ambush the king. Which we do, successfully. We also got to play NPCs. So then the DM could only handle the enemies, which was really fun. So, I got to play another Artificer. It was really fun. We finished it really quickly. We finished the combat in like an hour. Because we realized we were getting lower on time and someone had to leave at a certain time and it was in an hour, and so we're like, okay, let's do combat in an hour, and so we did. And that's where we ended part 2. Follow-up is where we immediately left cleanup and explanations to the rest of the students' NPCs while we ran ahead to go get our boy to rescue Justinian. So we did. Hi, Lily. I have my doggo in my room now. Hello, my buddy. My buddy. Yeah? Did you have a good time? Good time? Yes? Good boy. He's my baby. But we go and rescue Justinian. We come in, basically Angela was stealthed ahead from the group during the combat with the shapeshifters for the king. He did that. He made a flower bomb and it activated right as we got there, and we were like, we're gonna use that chaos to slip in and follow, and so we did. We found more shapeshifters in the basement of the bakery. And so, quite literally, it was just, we go down, we struggle to open a door, a secret door, and then, we go down, we get the secret door open, we go down the secret hole, we hear shouting, we start running, And then we turn the corner, and we see Justinian beating the shapeshifters over the back of the... beating the shapeshifters that have taken him to death with a chair of a leg. Cue Anduin being fucking relieved because it's just like... Thank God my boy is sick. Like, thank God a member of my own team is safe, because quite literally... Anduin was the one that was like internal panic the entire time, because he's the leader. He's supposed to look out for everyone, and if he can't do that, then what is he? So, we get him, he's roughed up, we return his weapons and pins, we go back up top, we give a quick debriefing, we split up and do our own things, and then, Anduin goes and informs all the students that have gathered that, hey, short change of plans today. We're not going to do sparrings because we've had a rough day. We're going to go to the tavern we rent out so you guys can help yourself to the food and drink that's there, that's free, on the house. And for those that want to do combat more inclined things, you can arm wrestle, but that's it. And so we go, we have a good time. We had a lot of Union songs being played. The guy that Anduin one-shot in the Capture the Flag was there, and that was where he was like, okay, I'm still sorry about that. And then Angela was like, hey, I hear you're having a problem. You don't like our buddy Andy too much. And then he just teleported out of there, and I'm just like, bruh. So, it was very productive. And then, recently, our most recent session, was actually the start of Anduin's character arc. I'm happy. So, basically, the student get-together still happened, except the next day. So, we, everyone got up early, of course, even though it was the fucking weekend, and, what are you doing? Sorry, my dog was doing something. Hi, Libby. No, sir. Okay. Nope. Sorry. But, so everyone gets up early. We start, getting ready for the student get-together for the sparrings. Q or Deco being like, so which one have you picked, when, Elebor and Justinian and Angelo have left. Reminder, Justinian and Elebor are the ones he has the major crushes on. And, Q stammering Anduin, who immediately leaves to be like, I need to go help set up because I'm the one that helped with all this, so see ya. Elebor and Angelo are training to get a sense for his style. Justinian was going for a walk, but Anduin sent Kai, with him because he's like, I'm paranoid, screw me, I guess. And so eventually everyone's in the same place, and we get the student get-together kicked off after Anduin has a little chat with the rest of the class leaders, because he's class leader of his, and he has to speak with the other 4 class leaders and their seconds, just like, so how are we going to do these sparring sessions? Are we going to do 2 big groups like dodgeball, or are we going to do duos or singles, or what are we doing? And so we decided to do duos in a tournament style. We had 4 people from Omega participate in it. We had Elebor, Anduin, Angelo, Gaston. Our Deco sat it out, and Justinian was still injured, so he sat that one out. Which is, yay, someone doing something believable that long rest didn't fix all this shit. Hooray! So, the first match, duos were completely NPCs. No party members, so it was just brushed over who the winners were. And then the next fight was Anduin and another NPC that uses a gun versus a Lyrathan and a mage. And immediately I'm like, there's no way I'm winning this. I'm with another gun user. We're fucked. And true enough, we lost. It took an hour for us to get through it, though, and after that match we had to call session. But, we had 2 mini sessions, this past week. One of them was Thursday night. The, other was, Friday night. We did the other 2 matches, which was a duo of NPCs versus, an NPC and Angelo, and a duo of NPCs versus Gastron and an NPC. And funny enough, the only person of Class Omega that lost in the duos was Anduin. And Anduin has since joined commentary and being sassy about it, because one of them is a shifter. And so here we see a wolf stalking a sheep. And here we see a sheep trying to run from a wolf, or something along those lines. And it was funny because people snickered, because Anduin, contrary to popular belief, because he is a big old nerd, he is fairly popular with the students. So, yeah. We will be picking up with the, kind of, I suppose, semifinals? Yeah, semifinals of, the group once again. Just have fun, that kind of thing next time, and hopefully we get to run it this coming Tuesday, but we'll see. Scheduling and stuff might happen, we'll see. And so yeah, that's what's been happening so far, and if you couldn't tell by me talking about Elebor and heckin' Aragon so long, I love those games. Those games are, like, the highlight of my week. If I'm looking at stuff I just play, Aragon is it. If I'm looking at stuff I DM, I kind of have no choice but to choose Elebor, but, you know, whatever. But, yeah, I believe that I might call I might call stream here. My voice is getting messed up, and I kind of need that for tomorrow because I have to do a big old recap. And I don't want to strain it just by giving lore. I can make that another stream, because I can 100% go into the lore of Elebor and Aragon more in depth, because I have permission for both. One of them I have permission for because it's my world, and then the other I already have permission for the DM of Aragon. So therefore, jazz hands. So I will definitely be coming back to tell you the lore of both campaigns more in depth and have my handy dandy documents up. But I think that's gonna be it for now. So I am going to heckin' raid someone so then I can make sure y'all are entertained. Are you not entertained? So we are going to stream manager real quick. Turn off that. Ah, shit. We're gonna hack and raid someone. Before I do, though, I will remind you, if you like my ramblings, if you like me playing 14, if you like my content, please give me a follow. I would very much appreciate it, and if you're interested in getting a bit more of a regular timeline, and perhaps in my Twitch bio, I have a Discord server link for people that you can join if you so desire. If not, no hard feelings. But, yes. I am going to raid someone. Okay. So, who's on? Okay. I'm deciding to who to raid. I have indecision because I have a lot of people that I follow are on, and I have indecision. I can either do someone who's doing Disney Dreamlight. I can do someone who's also doing just chatting. I can do someone who's doing Final Fantasy 14. I'm gonna roll some dice real quick. So it's between you, and yous. No! Hey. Oh, actually, that's who I was leaning towards. That's cool. So, we are gonna go raid someone who I have a bit of, I'm one of their frequents. I'm someone who knows me by my nickname. They are getting hella drunk. But at the same time, they are entertaining, even though sometimes people in their chat make me a little comfy. But, his name is Density. Don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's very, very entertaining. He's very entertaining. So you guys will be well entertained, I promise. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you guys have a pleasant day tomorrow, or pleasant day today, depending on your time zone. So, I wish you all happiness. So, I wish you guys the best of luck. Bye!